Baker and Dede, and
Right,
they did
right.
have what a fantastic year.
Great year. I just wish Westbrook was coming back next year instead
Yeah,
of being
me
a senior.
too.
I was with him, last night at the Wendy's High School
Right.
deal, and what two great guys they are for the university, and I'm just when Mayfield said he was coming back, I'm like, yeah,
Absolutely.
got another quarterback. So of course, I guess Pete Ron and Joe Nixon, they have to decide what they're gonna do. So
I would like to see him come back.
I like
know
to see
they-
them all come back, of course. The Sooner Nation would anyway.
Absolutely.
But, they have to do what they think is best for them. So.
And they should.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you had a chance to get or see any of this Kennedy Brooks down in Mansfield, Texas?
I've heard about him, but hadn't seen any.
Well, you know what? He came out from nowhere this year. He leads the state of Texas in rushing.
Yeah,
He's like number 10 or 12 in the country in rushing. Just an incredible, just up from nowhere. I know the CBS has him ranked like number 15 or
Well,
16.
ranking is all
Yeah,
opinionated.
exactly.
Even when it comes to 4-star, 3-star, it all
don't
depends.
care.
It don't matter. It depends what you do there on the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What
You
advice?
can take it from me. I'm from Hooks, Texas. Population 2,000 people. Little small town, and a lot of people thought when I came out, should have went to a small school.
Right.
Well, actually, I was headed to Baylor, but that changed.
We've heard that story with Grant Tabb.
Yeah, Grant Tabb, but that changed when I met the king, Coach Switzer. So, and at that time, there were, no scholarship limits. And when I go to Oklahoma, man, we was 5 or 6 people at every position. I can remember in practice, we used to hope some guys get hurt a little bit. Your own teammate was terrible, but just to get some playing time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, Stoops isn't exactly well known for spreading the playing time around either. I mean, dang, come on, Bob.
Well, yeah, if I always say if it's not broke, don't fix it.
No,
So he's doing a good job
he
there.
is.
Him and the whole coaching staff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, what advice would you give if either one of these guys would win it? I know there's some highs and obviously some lows that follow. What advice would you give these guys if they were to win today?
Well, either one of those guys is definitely worth winning. I just hate both of them there at the same time because what they're doing is pulling votes.
They're splitting votes.
And that's happened with Adrian and Jason
Exactly.
one year. But the fact is, coming from a university like Oklahoma with great coaching staff behind them, parents bringing them up the right way, and just be humble, and everything else will take care of itself.
What was your NFL career like after you had a great career at OU, obviously? You go to the Lions.
Yeah, not bragging, first round, first pick sound pretty good. So they tell you where you was going. You said Detroit. I'm like, Detroit?
Yeah,
So they had just won 2 games the year before. And I'm thinking, oh, man, I'm going to the
well, more
worst team.
importantly, they didn't have an offensive line.
No. But, we did pretty good. I had 2 great, made the playoffs a couple of times. My best year was 83. And lost to the 49ers up there by a field goal. Had
Right.
we beat them, Joe Montana and company, we was 2 games out from going to the Super Bowl. So,
I know. It's a great year.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us how you got into the barbecue. You've become a barbecue. Is it magnet or maggot or what is it? What do they call those guys that are real successful?
Well, it's just hard work and determination. I've been at this 11 years now. And 11 years ago, I was really primarily living in Dallas full time.
Right.
I was involved in charter schools. A lot of people may not know this.
No, I knew that.
An organization called Texas Can Academy. It's still around, been around over close to 40 years now. Started by an OU grad by the name of Grant East, who went to OU in the 50s there.
Right.
And I was actually just going for a free lunch. And I went there, and I didn't even know Grant East was from Oklahoma. He had started this organization, and they ended up working for him, and I was vice president of community relationship and fundraising.
Right.
So during that time period, I got a lot of the OU alumni in the Houston area and the Dallas area on board to help the can out, and even got Mr. Boone Pickens on board. I spent 4 hours with him, and I had to tell you a little story. Of course, he was a big Oklahoma guy, and OSU is his school. And I go there and we talk about different things, and he told me about the 5 or 6 times that he went broke in the oil and gas business before he got it right. So it's just a wealth of knowledge just sitting there and listening to this guy. So I'm getting ready to leave, and he said, before you leave, could you do me a favor? I'm thinking to myself, what kind of favor can I do him? This a billionaire. He said, you see that ball over there on the mantle? I looked over, I said, yeah, it was a football sitting there. He said, could you get that for me? I said, sure will. I went and got it, and it had Barry Sanders' signature on the ball. He said, would you sign that for me? I said, I'd be more than happy to. So I signed the ball, and he signed a book for me that he had
Right.
wrote, and then we took a picture together. So I was headed back to my office, and I just shaking my head. I said, man, you know, I just thought I was going to be there a few minutes. You know, we didn't have time for me. We was there 4 hours talking. So 2 weeks later, I'm at the mall in Dallas, and I run into Roger Staubach. Of course, Roger's a Heisman guy, and I hadn't saw him in about 2 or 3 years. And I said, well, he's with his wife. I'm not going to bother him. Then I thought of me. I said, well, yeah, I'm at least say hello because he's a Heisman guy. So I went up to him and I said, hey, Roger. He looked at me. He said, Hooks, Texas, Billy Sim. Shocked me. I mean, I was broke. I said, he remembered me. He said, yeah. He said, I see you was at Mr. Boone Pickett's office a few weeks ago. And I'm thinking, I didn't know that. I said, well, yeah, I was. He said, you know what? I signed that football, too.
How about that? That's a great story.
True story, too. So it just, you know, even the way I won the Heisman was never saw it coming. Because if you remember, I backed up Joe Washington my freshman year.
Right.
My sophomore year, I missed the whole year. I was hurt. I didn't play at all.
Now, Billy, let's go back to the year that you won the Heisman. Why don't you
Okay.
just recap that whole scene for us?
Well, I you know, of course, highly recruited coming out of the state of Texas. At that time, I was the second leading rusher nationally overall. The first guy was Kenneth Hall.
I remember
back in the
that.
50.
He went to, right. A&M.
Sugar Land, Texas. Went to
Yes.
A&M.
Yes, he did.
And so everybody knew about me. Matter of fact, Donnie Duncan, who was my backfield coach, and also at one time, you know, worked, you know, higher up in the University of Oklahoma. Well, he saw me play a playoff game, and that's how Coach Swisher and the staff knew where Hooks, Texas was. Let's put it that way.
And it's hard to find,
Yeah,
too.
it is hard to find. Matter of fact, I'm about an hour drive from Idlewild, but on the Texas side.
Exactly.
I'm right outside of Texarkana, Arkansas.
Oh, no, I know,
No small
I know
town.
exactly where Hooks is.
So I get to Oklahoma. Oklahoma had they just won the national championship the year before.
Right.
And I'm backing up Joe Washington. We had great players that year. My class year, I think probably one of the best class recruited that didn't win the national championship.
Absolutely.
I
was.
take blame for that because of the Nebraska loss, the famous FOMO people talk about even now on the 3-yard
I'm not
line.
gonna mention
I
it.
know you're not. So my sophomore year, I'm going in there, I'm going to start, but I get hurt. Fractured my shoulder. I didn't even play at all, so I had to regroup and come back. And you know, when you're young like that, and life goes on, coaches talking to the players that's helping the team out. And I quit. I left. If it wasn't for Coach Swisher, I'd been back at Hooks pumping gas. That's what I was going to do. And he saw something in me at that time that I didn't see it myself. So I regrouped, refocused on my college stuff, and got bigger, got stronger. Going into that Heisman year, never saw it coming. Great supporting cast of guys. Even my roommate, Greg Roberts, won the Outland Trophy, who blocked for me.
Absolutely.
So we was pretty good with Kenny King, Darrell Hunt, Thomas Lott, my quarterback. And even though we lost to Nebraska, I still ended up winning the Heisman Trophy because of those supporting cast of guys around me on defense and offense. Then I came in second my senior year to Charles White. I almost won it twice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would have been a great deal. You know, going back to those years, if we would have had the current playoff system, we would have won more national championships.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, we should have won. We was in them. We lost to Arkansas.
Well, no, but how
Think
about
about it.
that year that we tie USC?
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Can't say it too loud because there's an Alabama guy right
That's
over here.
okay.
But Alabama was voted #1, and are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we went out and we didn't lose to USC. We tied them.
Right. I
And they were
remember
the
that.
big news. We had to go out there. You know, what did we do?
That
Miss
was
a-
Joe Washington.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that was a great
Yeah.
game. The Selmans.
Oh yeah, had a chance to play with all those guys because my freshman year was, bless his heart, Steve Davis was a quarterback, Billy Brooks, Tinker Owens, Joe Washington, the Selman brother. They was loaded again, and my group of guys that came with me, Phil and Paul Tabor, the twins.
Sure.
That year, Coach Swisher, they used to have a thing in the state of Texas called the top blue chippers.
Right.
Well, 14 out of 18 blue chippers came to Oklahoma.
You know, and here's the thing that the Texas people couldn't understand. They always accuse Switzer of giving money to players.
No. I can
know.
tell you right now, never gave me a penny. to recruit
I
me.
understand that,
No,
but you
no.
can't convince
Yeah.
A&M and the Texas.
Well,
They
no,
were doing it.
They was doing it. That's
They were
the problem.
doing it. I know, and you know they'd say, "Well, everybody's knowing."
No.
I
But
like,
you know,
you know-
but the thing about that, even now with Coach Swisher, the thing that still resonates with me is the fact he said 30 to 40 years from now, when the cheering is gone, when you're not playing football and all that, I still got your back. Not just me, hundreds of guys.
And that's true.
To this day.
Well, you know what? I
He's
remember
done so much from behind the scene, helping people out. You'd be surprised.
Well, Billy, you know, the stories, I know there's millions of
Oh, yeah.
stories of Coach Switzer helping people, but when Leroy Selman was diagnosed and, well, it was beyond that, and when they hospitalized him and said he only had a few days to live, I know for a fact that Coach Switzer called down there, called in, and called around the country for specialists to come in and try to see if they could save Leroy.
Oh, without a doubt. And not just Leroy, hundreds of players that he've fallen on hard times or whatever, he have stepped up and tried to help them out. And that's just the way his true love is, you know, for his family, for his players. And to this day, if you talk to 100 guys, 99 of them will take a bullet for him. And I'm one of them, so
Absolutely.
for sure. Yeah.
Well, you know what? What's funny is the other coaches around the country actually resented him for
Well,
different
yeah.
reasons.
Well, yeah.
One reason, and you probably know this, when Barry started winning big, and especially against the University of Texas, they were not integrated.
No.
They were-
The first, they didn't get integrated to 70.
Yeah, exactly.
Roosevelt Leaks was their first player.
So you know, a lot of this, we were beating Texas because we had the best players, and they refused to recruit black players.
Well,
So-
yeah, at that time.
and I would think, and you're going to have to tell me,
Well,
but
Alabama, they didn't have me either. A lot of
absolutely.
Till Sam Bam Cunningham played. I remember that game on USC, and
Yeah.
after that changed everything. For
Well, it had
Brad.
to. That was a heck of a. He just ran over.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like a Mack truck running
Yeah,
over a bunch
yeah.
of guys. And
But you know, with Coach, he never saw color and deal with all that stuff. That didn't mean anything to him. What was coming from your heart was most important.
you know what's funny? He doesn't.
No,
he
it's
is
not today. I
Well,
tell
I mean,
people.
I'm not
you
talking
know
about
what
color.
I normally do? I
What's
get
that?
with some people. They're talking about, well, I don't like Coach Swisher. I said, have you ever met him? He said, well, no. I said, hold up a second. Hey, Coach, somebody here on the phone want to talk to you. He said, oh, no, I don't want to talk. Yeah, talk to him. You say you don't like him. Yeah, you can. So now they get through talking to him, they just love him.
You know what? I had a similar story like that with Kevin Blackistone, Dallas Morning News. When Kevin worked there, he wrote a column. You know, every year we played Texas, and Dallas Morning News would always do a hate article on OU.
Right,
Well,
right.
Kevin Blackistone wrote this it wasn't very complimentary
Right.
about how, you know, backward and that Barry Switzer and all this.
Right.
I wrote Kevin Blackistone a letter, and I said, have you ever even been up here? Do you know these people?
Right,
So I
right.
invite Kevin Blackistone to come to Norman. And he did it.
Right,
He
right.
came to Norman. We went out to dinner several times. I took him around, introduced him to a lot of people, and after that, I think Kevin changed his mind.
I'm sure he did.
He did because
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
he started to see these people as a
Right.
completely different light.
Right.